Yo, what's going on everybody? Need4beans over here. In this video, I wanted to go over Nvidia's latest update to their drivers, where they added Nvidia Dlss and ray tracing, and also Nvidia Reflex low latency technology that really actually helps with reducing input lag. And I just kind of want to go over some of the settings and kind of do a review of this update. So in order to enable these settings, first of all, you have to go to your NVIDIA control panel, and you want to just enable it globally, the new settings that were added. Now I'm gonna just first of all test with everything on low settings, and I'm using DirectX 12. I feel like that's better because it's the newer, the new platform, and I feel like all this new technology, NVIDIA and DLSS, it's all meant for DirectX 12. So I do run it in DirectX 12. Everything here again is on low, 1920 to 1080. Full screen is exclusive. Make sure that Fortnite is running in full screen exclusive mode. Unlimited FPS. I like to leave it unlimited. And then shadows off, everything low, VSync off, motion blur off. I'm gonna show FPS. Multi-threaded rendering on because we have an i9 9900K. GPU crash debugging off, latency markers. So I'll turn it on for now to show you guys what it does. Nvidia reflex low latency. So this does require an RTX card. So I have an RTX 2070 Super. So this one in GPU bound scenarios requires an Nvidia graphics card and the latest driver. So this one, it says in GPU bound scenarios. I believe with the i9 9900K, I am GPU bound in the sense. So turning it on plus boost is probably the best option. So latency flash, again, I'm going to turn that on along with latency markers. So this has to do with your HDD. So if you go to your HDD settings, so give me a new setting called latency debug stats. Let's turn that on. All right, and turn that on, and along with the latency flash, where is it at? Here, along with the latency flash and latency markers. And for the DLSS, so DLSS is deep learning super sampling. So what it does is it uses deep learning, machine learning, or whatever to optimize your render, your images, pretty much your FPS. So as it says in the description, boosting your frames rate so you can maximize your graphics settings and output resolution. DLSS requires an RTX card, so it uses deep learning to render highly detailed images using fewer pixels. So this does take some time to kind of activate because it uses deep learning, right? So it takes a few days for it to work out. So I've been using this setting for about 2 or 3 days now, ever since the drivers came out. So it did take a few days, like a day or something for me. Like the first time I turned it on, I didn't really notice much of a difference, but after playing in creative for a few hours, I started to really notice like a pretty insane FPS, not FPS increase, but more of an input lag decrease. So right now, if you look, there's next to my ping on the left side, there's the latency like HDD marker. So the total latency is 4 point something seconds. Then you have the game latency, the render queue, the driver, the OS queue, GPU, and then the monitor is 60 hertz. So my monitor is not 60 hertz. My monitor is higher than that, but I would ignore the M, the U, and the B setting for now. Just don't worry about it. So what you're worrying about is you want to minimize the overall latency, which is 4 milliseconds. So another thing is, whenever I click my mouse button, there's going to be that white flash. So that is more used for testing out your latency, right? So you could technically record this in like really high FPS, like I don't know, how high am I going? I have 400. I could record this at 500 FPS, right? And then slow it down and kind of test the time it takes between the white box to flash to when I start swinging my pickaxe, kind of thing, or between the white box flashing and me shooting the shotgun. So that's just one thing I haven't really been using though, honestly, because you kind of already see the latency in seconds right there. So I have turned it off. I feel like it's just less less things that is showing up. It's just gonna be a little better for latency and FPS boost. So turn that off and latency flash off. I usually just leave it off. So now I'm just gonna go over like this is actually pretty insane. It's hard for me to like show it to you guys, but when I'm actually doing the edits, it's insanely easier to do like triple edits and all these crazy edits. You know, it's a lot easier to do. I'm not worried about it now. I haven't even played it all, but it definitely feels very very clean and very very smooth. And the best part is whenever you're box fighting a lot, or you do like a lot of edits, you know, you're like boxing up, you're making a lot of moves. A lot of times you will notice that you're getting some sort of input lag. There's some sort of like, you know, just delay. But you're not. I don't get that anymore. I can do all these weird, you know, edits and a lot of moves and a lot of edits, and there's absolutely no problem with any sort of input lag. So if you guys have an Nvidia card, I believe actually the low latency is not only for RTX cards. So if you have any Nvidia card, make sure to update your drivers and make sure to turn on your low latency settings here in the graphics settings. Turn it on to on plus boost or on. I mean, I haven't tested it with on, I'm not gonna lie. I just used on plus boost for the highest FPS possible, and Latency flash off, Dlss off. So now the other thing I want to go over is ray tracing. So if you will get this option, but if you don't update your drivers, you're gonna get stuttering. It's gonna be really bad. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn on ray tracing, shadows, reflections, epic, everything I'm gonna turn on high, and then we're going to see how well our computer performs. So let's go ahead and do that. Now anti-aliasing is off here, but right, epic, there we go. Put everything on epic, apply, and we're going to restart the game and see how much better it looks. Alright guys, so we're back here in the game. We have everything on high and it looks pretty awesome. I mean, like, you can see these reflection here on the bottom. There's a lot of extra particles you can see, and then there's some smoothness going on here. Now FPS, we are struggling. I haven't seen us struggle before. We are at 125 FPS. This is kind of a struggle. We're gonna go into creative, but I feel like with everything on max, you know, beforehand we still hit easy 200 FPS, but now with the ray tracing on, I feel like it adds a little more overhead. So we'll see how well we do with everything absolutely at maximum. Now this would be awesome for recording, because if you're recording videos or anything, you don't need more than 60 FPS. But here it looks like we're struggling to get 40 FPS. This is really, really bad. Wow. Man, let's see here. This is not, I did not expect it. Okay, we're about 100 FPS, which isn't that bad. And you know, it does, we're at 0 ping, but I mean, it doesn't look that good. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's a good balance you can find between you know, all these shadows and reflections. Like, it does look nice. Don't get me wrong, it looks really nice, like the sun reflecting on the ground here. I feel like if we go into like a different island, like a black glass island, or actually if we turn on like nebulas here, I feel like it will look really nice. But like, this would be great for recording, you know, like recording some crazy videos and like montages or anything, because you are still getting above 100 FPS. As you can see here, our FPS is already climbing. So with the Dlss, it does like slowly improve your FPS. It's actually pretty insane. So let me see if I can even do 90s. Yeah, you definitely can tell that it's like not the FPS I'm used to, because it's under my monitor refresh rate is 185 hertz. So because it's under 185 FPS, you can definitely tell there is some lag. But overall, surprisingly, the input lag is still minimum. So even with FPS being so bad, I think with Nvidia's new technology, the input lag is actually not bad at all. Like, I'm still able to do all the edits with much lower FPS. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, that if you're recording videos, you might, you know, not be at your optimal settings, but you're not gonna really lose much performance when it comes to your editing or building. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helped shed some light on Nvidia's brand new update. I'm really excited for it, especially with a performance boost. I think it's gonna make everybody a much better player, especially on PC. But if you haven't updated your drivers, make sure you update them now and enable those settings. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Need for Beans out. Peace.